Welcome to episode number 104. JT, Jared Ty, my partner, along with myself, Brent Duham. Hey, we have a returning guest, and this returning guest is, he like all guests. I mean, everyone stands out to me in their own special way. But Matthew really does. He was on with us about a year ago, almost to the day, actually. And we had COVID, and he worked at the University of Iowa at the time. You can see now he's proudly sporting his Vanderbilt shirt and his where he works today, which I'm super proud of him for getting there. It means a lot to me just because of how hard he worked, where he was, and now where he is today. But on this episode of Breaking Business Barriers, we're going to break it down, man. We're going to break it down, for people in their careers. JT, you've been through challenges. I've been through challenges. And sometimes we forget about all those when we're younger, like Matthew. I'm older. I'm older than both of you by quite a bit. But there's a lot of things that you're experiencing, and what Matthew's experienced is almost unheard of in terms of like when I was his age. I didn't have to go through a pandemic, and all of a sudden the business that he supports is shut down, and all of a sudden he doesn't have a job type of thing. So on this episode of Breaking Business Barriers, like I mentioned, it's episode 104. JT and I welcome Matthew. Man, how you doing, man? It's great to see you about a year later.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys. I'm good. I'm doing really good. In the middle of training camp right now. Kickoff is in a couple weeks. But overall, it's been a crazy year. Especially from the last time like you mentioned, like we did talk. But glad to be here. Glad to have some free time to talk with you guys tonight.
Yeah, right. I didn't think that you'd have any sort of time, because I know when you're putting the grind on, it's almost like the coach's grind, right? I mean, you're putting in 14 to 18-hour days, and that's legit, right?
Yes, sir. It is.
Let's talk about your path, man. Let's rewind it real quick. How did you get into what you're doing? And then we'll get into the Iowa scene, then now Vanderbilt. And I can bicker with you a little bit about SEC versus Big Ten, but I won't. I've got sincere. My buddies will come down on me, because most of them are all SEC fans down here, especially now that Texas and Oklahoma are supposedly making a move, right?
They are. They'll be here in 2025.
Yeah, they will be, or if not sooner.
Yeah,
sure. Those buyouts are buyouts. That's but right. Hey, let's let everyone know, those aspiring to do something like that you've done, or maybe just in business. Why don't you give us your background once again? Remind us.
Gotcha. Well, I'm originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've been all over the place, 9 states, and I turned 30 in 2 months. So I'm not getting quite as young as I have been, but I'm getting ready to hit my 30s. But I started working in sports. Obviously, I played in high school, had dreams of playing in college, but that never happened. So I wanted to work with the college team. Went to Western Kentucky, right up the road. My alma mater is right up the road from here in Bowling Green. Started off there doing men's basketball. That didn't work out. Was on the women's basketball practice squad for a little bit. Did the marketing team. Then I worked with the baseball team for 3 seasons. Humbling experience. And I'll say that because doing laundry isn't for the weak. You have to do laundry for all the players plus coaches, even your own laundry, which I don't mind doing. So humbling experience, to say the least. Then I got into football. Started working in football video my last 2 years on campus. And then that turned out, then my boss at the time, John Riley, he helped me out, was able to get a job at the University of Houston, and kind of the rest is history from there. And from Houston, I worked with Tom Herman there. Then I went to Pitt, worked there for 2 years as a video graduate assistant. Then I went to Boston College for my first full-time job. From there, I got a little pay bump to go out to middle nowhere, Kansas, Kansas State, Little Apple. I
Yeah.
worked with Bill Snyder. And then unfortunately, some stuff happened there. Bill Snyder retired. New regime comes in. They clean people out that they don't want. And I landed in Hawkeye country for the last 2 years. And obviously, the last talk, when you guys talked to me, I was I was on the search for a job immediately. But now things work out for a reason. A lot of prayer took place. Didn't know what was going to happen. And now here at Vanderbilt, kind of back home, my family, we moved to Mount Juliet, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Nashville, back in 2005. So I went to middle school, I went to high school out here before I went to Western Kentucky. So I'm very fortunate. Living rent free right now. I'm very thankful for that because it is very expensive here. So I'm saving a little bit, and I'm very, very glad to be here with my family, and glad to be a part of the tradition here at Vanderbilt.
That's awesome, man. And so I know JT will have a question here in a minute, but my I guess my first thought is, what a journey. And can you imagine, you dial the clock back to when you're coming out of college. Can you imagine where you are today? I mean, was there any thought?
No, I never thought I would have worked at 4 Power 5 schools in 4 of the 5 top conferences in America, working in college football. Never would have thought about that, but I just had to give my thanks to God on that. When one door closes, another one opens. We walk by faith, not by sight. It was tough for me in the last year to kind of not walk by sight, but at the end of the day, He has a plan for all of us, and I'm glad His plan has landed me to a great place with some great people.
That's awesome. JT?
Yeah, Matt. So it's been a crazy year since we last had you on the show. How has how has the COVID and the pandemic and everything like that? How has that impacted your work?
Well, after you guys talked to me, we went through that 8-game season. We went 6-2 last year. Lost our first 2 games, tough losses to Purdue and Northwestern. By a total of 5 points. Went through that. I got tested about 30 something times. I caught COVID after we beat Wisconsin.
Did you really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was rough, but I was the only one. I was a staff outbreak. Coach Ferentz caught it.
Yep.
Majority of the staff caught it. So being at home kind of sucked at the time. And I was at home for Christmas. We were supposed to go to the Music City Bowl, actually, here in Nashville, playing at Nissan Stadium. But that didn't happen because our opponent, they had an outbreak themselves, and they just canceled the game at the last minute. So went through that, came back in January, didn't know what was going to happen. I was supposed to be eliminated at the end of January.
Yep.
I ended up being extended for 2 more months. Then they came back and said, we'll extend you through the end of spring practice. Then what my boss over at Iowa at the time, what he was trying to do was extend me to July, at least get me to the summertime. And they weren't budging on that. And I couldn't plan my life out. So on my own accord, I decided to step away for a little bit. I worked with a company in town. I think Iowa City is the Iowa City Cornville Convention and Visitors Bureau. They heard about my story too. Also want to give a shout out to LeVar Woods and Tyler Barnes. They 2 great guys that work for Iowa as well. They recommended me to one of their friends, and he extended an offer to me to work there. And he knew I still wanted to work in college football, but he saw my skills, saw my talent. I was able to help them out a little bit. And on March 1st, Vanderbilt called. They offered me the assistant director of video services position here, brand new position, as a matter of fact. And I didn't hesitate. I usually wait a day on job offers. I didn't hesitate. I said yes.
That's amazing, man. And you mentioned 2 coaches. there are mentors in our life, and there's the higher above and all the things that we appreciate, but there's nothing like, a coach or a mentor or whomever. How good did it feel that Coach Woods and Tyler were, standing right behind you? You did something to stand out.
Well, I think it just goes back to my character and how I was raised. And I have two really great parents who instilled a lot in me. I know I was a little bit stubborn at times, and I still can be, but just stick to being a good person. It doesn't take any effort to be a kind person or treat people the way you want to be treated. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And I've been around people who, want to bully you, want to like press your buttons, but just being in an environment like the last couple of environments I've been in, especially at Iowa, they brought me in with open arms because I was kind of in a similar situation after my tenure at K-State. So they brought me in with open arms, but obviously that job wasn't guaranteed. I'm just glad they knew about my situation and they took a chance to bring me in. And I know a lot of people spoke for me to get the job here, and I thank them as well. John Riley, who I mentioned before, he's actually the video director for North Dakota State football, and he's been an advocate for me since I was a student. So that's somebody I look up to all the time. And I know for sure he always has my back, and I always have his. I think just being a good person and working hard. That's what I've been told, like, keep your head down and just, work and make sure you're making the right connections, make sure you're treating people with respect, make sure you always say thank you to people.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I just got a Starbucks gift card from one of our main cafeteria lady, just for being such a sweetheart to the whole staff every time I come in. So
that makes me smile, my friend. That makes me smile, and keep passing it forward, type of stuff. It's amazing what kindness does, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. And don't pass judgment. Someone could be having a bad day.
Right. You don't know what people are going through. You don't.
No.
You don't.
No. Maybe they lost a loved one, or maybe someone's injured, and or they have a friend that needs an incredible amount of help. You just don't know. But kindness is a currency beyond belief, for sure. JT, what you got, man?
Right.
No, I'm just enjoying the message here, Matt. I'm a big fan of your humility and just, keep your head down and work hard and treat people right. So good. Kudos to you on that.
Hey,
Thanks.
so Matthew, you've been here before and you've listened, I know, and you and I are pals on social, and I pay attention to the stuff that you post out there and vice versa. Man, you've had a number of forks in the road, because you're in an industry not unlike what JT and I do. I mean, any industry can be volatile, right?
Right.
It really can.
Mm-hmm.
However, I am a sports fan, and I don't know if there's a more volatile industry. And also, one, you better have connections, or it may not. I don't care what your talent level is, but you better have connections. You have some advice for folks, whether they want to go down your path, or maybe they want to do what I do or JT does, or some XYZ does. But you have some advice for these folks?
I do, and connections is one of the main things. You have to know people. Fortunately for me, I didn't know anybody here at Vanderbilt. I didn't know a soul here, because Coach Lee came from Notre Dame. I don't know the only person I knew at Notre Dame was my really good friend Sydney Sims, who now works at the University of Michigan, but she was at Notre Dame for the last 2 years, and she knew Coach Lee, and she recommended me to him. So that was kind of my so-called foot in the door. I knew I was going to have to. I was just hoping, like, when I applied, I'm like, I just hope I get a call for an interview. That's all I'm hoping for. And once I get the interview, then I can take it from there. But connections is something that's really big. Obviously, get as much experience as you can. and, put yourself out there, work, just, work, do what you need to do. Like during the pandemic, I also thought I read a lot. I did a lot of research on other things that are out there, not like in sport, maybe not internally on the team side like I do, but I know there's a whole world out there, and I'm glad I've been able to connect with some great people since the last time I was on here, and I'm proud to call them friends because they've been looking out for me, and I've been looking out for them in the case. But I'm glad I can actually, let's say, land on my feet, as they say, in a good situation. But just persevere. Any careers, it's tough. Like I said, it's not going to be easy. What you guys do is definitely not easy, and especially what I do, like with the high demand and wins and losses, things like that. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy either. But you just have to persevere, and just be yourself. Also, just be yourself. That's huge as well. Don't act any different than what you are. Like, you're unique everybody's unique in their own way. So, just be yourself.
You're going to be that guy here before you know it, that 1, then 10, then 20 are going to say, man, Matthew helped me. Here's what I learned from Matthew. And I can't believe that you turned 30 here not too long. That it makes me feel even older than I already am. But that's cool. I'm just glad to be standing right here and being able to visit with you. But right now you're entering a point in life where you are going to be that guy that influences a whole bunch of people. Man, I just bless you, man. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Lead with kindness. Work your shoes off, and good things happen. JT?
Yeah, I can't believe you're just turning 30, man. You're making me feel old. But you present yourself very well. So if I had to guess, I would, just based on that, I would take you for a little older.
I appreciate that. A lot of people think I'm younger. I usually get 20.
Is that right? You get carded.
24, 25. And I just get my goatee back.
Nice.
I shaved it off for like the last 3 months because the weather here isn't like Midwestern weather.
Yeah. It's been hot up in Iowa. I mean, it's been hot up there.
I was there earlier this summer. It was quite warm, actually.
Yeah, even JT and I are both down in North Texas, and of course I still have the family farm and all up there, and I pay attention to the weather probably closer than I pay attention to ours down here. And the average temperature has been hotter in southeastern South Dakota than it's been in here in North Texas all summer. It's amazing.
I think that's a testament to global warming.
Yeah, it's scary about that stuff, and that's probably another topic for another day. So, hey man, what's next? So you're putting it in. Tell us what you're doing now at Vandy. And I couldn't, I was, again, I take relationships probably to another level, and in some sense, I was really excited for you. Knowing your story from the past, and then when I saw you're going to Vandy, going to the SEC, what's next? What are you going to do? Because you kind of, this position wasn't there before all of a sudden Matthew shows up, right?
Right.
So what's next, man?
Right now, just getting ready for kickoff right now. But future plans, I would like to start my own podcast. I've listened to you guys. I've listened to a couple other people out there, and a lot of people have come up to me saying like Matthew, you have a lot of stories. You have a lot of advice, and I think we're at a place in time where I can probably share some of that stuff when it comes to either dating, traveling. Love to travel. Glad I'm actually going to get to do a little bit more of that in the off season, but stay tuned for that. Going to different sporting events, like the whole nine. So I definitely want to start my own podcast in the future. Still trying to get my foot in the door in lifestyle photography and videography. Going to try and do that. I'm gonna freelance a little bit. But who's next? Or excuse me, what's next for me? Possibly, maybe in the next 3 years or so, I have my eyes on NBA, NFL. That's what I kind of have my eyes geared toward right now. Trying to connect with people, see what opportunities are out there. One of my big things, like what I really want to do at the start of 2022 is be able to go to Cleveland and work the NBA All-Star game. Like be able to take some photos and videos. That's what I'm actually like trying to get my foot in the door on that right now. So
That'd be cool, man. Both JT and I, you're open doors. If you ever want to be a co-host on our show, you're welcome anytime. Seriously, you're welcome anytime. You're part of what it is that we do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I know
anytime.
You messaged me that a while back, and it's been obviously it's been crazy, been really busy, but I'm glad we were able to connect this past.
Yep. You lose me?